Have you ever asked the question, what is the hallmark of a human being? What is the best thing that a human being can do and achieve? If there is a hall of fame in heaven, what would be the criteria, the measure for that hall of fame? If here on earth there are many different achievements and many different hall of fame, if you are, say, a football player, maybe there's a hall of fame for the best of football player. I don't know who's the best of football player. If you are a Messi, maybe he scored, I don't know, 1,000 goals maybe. If you are a tennis player, competition between, I don't know, Djokovic, Nadal and Federer. Now Nadal is 22, he's got the most Grand Slams, so you're in the Hall of Fame, the best of that. But in heaven, I suspect that the measure would be how many times you have forgiven someone. 77 times, or sometimes 70 times 7 means it's actually infinity for people, for Jesus and the people of his time. So the measure, right, the limit is the sky, as it were. There's no limit to how many times you can forgive. So it begs the questions, right? How do you know how many times I can forgive, right? If a brother forgives me. What about the intensity of the things that you need to forgive, right? It's easy to forgive if someone steals 1,000 rupiah from me. It's not much, but it's very hard to forgive when, say, someone killed my mother. Is it hard or not hard to forgive? Or if that person injured you, right? After all, sometimes you need to forgive God, because sometimes God takes the life of your loved ones without asking you, because he owns that life, right? So it's not easy to forgive. One story in South Africa, you might have heard this story, I'll share with you. South Africa struggled with racism, right, between the white people and black people, and it was what we call apartheid. And back then, there was one story of this lady whose husband was captured by a soldier, and he was killed and tortured in front of his wife, and his wife had to witness and see how badly her husband was treated and then killed like that, and the body was just left there. And not enough, that same soldier took her only son and did the same, and made sure that the mother saw the son being tortured and killed in front of her. So when late President Nelson Mandela took the presidency in South Africa, he made this infamous, what they call a reconciliation act. And in that act, it was so bad that the act said, if you come to the court of reconciliation and confess the bad things that you have done, you will not receive any sentence. You will not be put to jail as long as you confess. So one day, a man called Van der Broek came forward and he confessed that he had killed a father and a son. It just so happened that the mother was there as well during the confession of Van der Broek. So, and they noticed that actually the victim's mother and husband was there too. So they asked her, what would you like us to do with Van der Broek? So what do you think? What did she ask the court? Did she ask that he should receive just punishment? No. Well, she asked three things. First, she asked Mr. Van der Broek to give a proper burial for her husband and her son, because the body was just left there. It was not buried. Nothing was done. First. Second, she said she wants to give Van der Broek a hug so that he knows that she forgive him from the heart. Right? So that was surprising enough for everyone there in the court, including Van der Broek. Thirdly, she said, I want Mr. Van der Broek to come and visit me twice a month, or once a fortnight, once every 2 weeks. She said, I want Van der Broek, I want to adopt him to be my son, because I still have a lot of love to share and I don't have anyone else to share. So would Van der Broek come to my house and I'll cook for him, I'll treat him like a son every 2 weeks and have a meal with me every 2 weeks. So what happened to Van der Broek? He fainted. He could not bear the forgiveness and the love that this mother showed to him. So at the end of that reconciliation, they all sang Amazing Grace, while Van der Broek fainted on the floor because of the immensity of love and forgiveness. So brothers, we too can be inspired to forgive. Sometimes the brothers next to you could be the brother that you need to forgive, not 7 times, but 77 times. Ask Brother Martin or myself, we've been in the MGL for a while. Mostly it's our own brother that we need to forgive. So we ask the grace of God, Jesus, to forgive us, just like the story in Ezekiel. You know, Israel, is a house of rebels. We rebel from wanting to let go. Hold on, I have to hit back. Right? It's the rebellious heart. Because Israel, the name of Israel means, right, the rebellious one. And Israel is a sign for us. God do the story to let human race know that we can have a heart, a rebellious heart, just like the chosen people Israel, right? We don't want to be that. We need to learn to let go, especially our anger. Men normally have problems. 2 things, lust and anger. So let go your anger and let God bring peace to your heart.